and they're hearing about Café Postale for the first time. How would you describe it to them?
I would say Café Postale, honestly, even before I worked there, trying to be as unbiased as I can, it was one of my favorite coffee shops to go to. The vibe is just so immaculate. Like you were saying, the building is so beautiful. There's so much natural light.
Hey there, Omaha. Welcome into another episode of Restaurant Hoppen. I'm your host, Dan Hoppen, and there are not very many restaurants or coffee shops in Omaha that are beautiful enough to double as a wedding venue or a gathering space. But that is part of what sets Café Postale apart. It is housed in the former Burlington Mail Terminal in downtown Omaha, and it is an immaculate testimony to really the history of Omaha. And I want to learn more about it. I want to learn more about the coffee they serve. I want to learn more about the food. Obviously, this is a food show. And to help me with that today, I've got one of the general managers, Haley Farrell. Haley, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
And I'm excited to have you here. Let's just start off right off the bat. If somebody is listening to or watching this and they're hearing about Café Postale for the first time, how would you describe it to them?
I would say Café Postale, honestly, even before I worked there, trying to be as unbiased as I can, it was one of my favorite coffee shops to go to. The vibe is just so immaculate. Like you were saying, the building is so beautiful. There's so much natural light. Not even to mention the coffee and food options we have. We have a lot of great local partners. We partner with Artemis. We partner with Ted and Wally's. Hardy roasts all our beans for us. So we really take pride in being local through and through.
So I want to hear more about like how you got involved, because you said even before you worked there, you were a fan. How did you become aware of this place originally?
Yeah, so my husband and I like to go out for food and stuff all the time. We're big foodies and big coffee drinkers. So I like to just scroll through Google, scroll through Visit Omaha, all different kinds of stuff. And it just happened to pop up one day. And I was like, oh my gosh, how have I never heard of this place before? I saw our brown sugar cardamom syrup on the menu and was like, that sounds so good. I have to have that right now. So that's what drew me in. Any like house-made syrups always get me so excited. So I was like, I have to go try that right now. And we got there and we're looking at the menu and we're like, how have we never been here before? Like, we had the chicken and waffle sandwich at the time. The everything bagel sandwich is so good. So we just got like a smorgasbord of different stuff to try. And I was like, this place is so cool. Everybody who was working there was so nice. So we kind of became regulars even before I started, like actually working there.
Okay,
so it was really cool.
So how did you move from regulars to working there?
So I was working at another coffee shop at the time and was just kind of not feeling it really anymore, just kind of casually was looking around for other stuff. And I happened to be scrolling through Facebook one day and saw a position open for a shift lead at Café Postale and was like, no way. Like right now, really, when I'm looking for something different. So I went in and had an interview and got hired on the spot. And that was 3.5 years ago.
Wow.
Here I am today.
Well, congratulations. I want to get more into your career, but I also want to kind of set the stage for what this place is and why it's special. I want to talk about the vibe because, like you said, it is immaculate. And there are really kind of three unique spaces that you guys have throughout Café Postale. There's the cafe, there's the garden patio, and there's the north side. What gives each of those spaces their individual personality?
Yeah, so I feel like the patio, especially this time of year, is just such an oasis. It has such beautiful, big, bushy flowers. It's so nice, and there's a nice shady spot. I just feel like that's such a nice place to like enjoy when it's nice outside, and you get to see the skyline of downtown, but not really have to worry about the traffic and hustle and bustle that can be the old market sometimes. So I feel like that's just an oasis on its own. My favorite part of the north side, personally, is the big mural that's on the wall. It's a shot from the 1920s straight down 10th Street. And to just see that and then go outside and look at the same spot, it's like, we're in a whole new world. Like, it's so crazy to think that this building saw that world. You know what I mean? I just think that's such a fun thing to think about. And then the cafe area, I feel like right when you walk in the doors, you just get that smell of coffee. It just gets you ready to be there and be like, yes, I'm going to have a treat. I'm going to do my work, or I'm going to chat with my friend, and you're just ready to have such a good time when you walk in and smell that. So I think that's my favorite thing about those spots.
Okay. 2 follow-ups on that answer. One, you were talking about the patio and just how it's like this little oasis. I could not agree more. And I got extremely jealous. Like in my research going back through, I saw that you guys have previously hosted like s'mores nights.
Yes.
So you'll have
we have those all the time, Dan. You don't have to be jealous. You'll do it anytime.
You'll have campfires outside and people can come get s'mores ingredients and make them. I think my wife and I are going to have to do that this year.
Please do. It's so much fun. Yeah, 100%. And even if it's a little chilly outside, we have really nice space heaters as well. So not only do you get the heat from the fire, but we can roll a space heater over too, so you stay nice and toasty.
I was already sold, and you further sold me. But I think even more importantly, you talked about the history of this place and how your favorite part is that giant mural where you can see what this area looked like 60, 70 years ago, and then you can walk outside and be like, here's what it looks like now.
Right.
How important is history in making Café Postale the place that it is?
I think it's really important, especially some of the like original features of the building are still there, and that's the thing people ask questions about all the time, and I get so excited to answer their questions. We have the original vault door that's in there, so the building was completed in 1926. So that's been there for almost a full 100 years, which is really cool to me. It was so heavy when they were remodeling the building, they just left it behind. And it's so beautiful, I can understand why, too. We've got really cool pictures up around on all the walls, and that mural I was talking about also, they're all from the Durham Archive, actually. So they're all actually from around Omaha, which I think is really interesting to talk to people about. And I think that really kind of sets the tone for, like, the vibe that we have. It's very, like, come to learn, come to chill, come to chat. It's just really fun.
So I wanted to, we'll get back into the history, but you just brought up something that I wanted to touch on, and it's just, I don't know how this happens, but I feel like every coffee shop or cafe kind of has its own personality. So my wife and I, we have a coffee shop. We go to a roast coffee house.
Yeah, I love roast.
Almost every week to do. We just have a coffee shop day. Yeah. We do our Bible study.
Cute.
It's very quiet. We hang out there. So we went out and did that this past Labor Day, and we went to a different coffee shop, and the vibe was totally different. The coffee was fantastic, but it was very loud.
Right.
There were kids. We couldn't really concentrate, so we were there for like 15 minutes, and we were just like, are we going to finish this at home? Let's finish this at home.
Right, yeah.
Café Postale is just so quiet and so serene. People come in there and they'll have meetings, or they'll work remotely, but it is just it's very calm. It's not chaotic like the coffee shop I was just referencing. Right. What do you think gives cafes or coffee shops their personality? Like, how do they determine, hey, this is going to be kind of a fun like hangout spot versus, hey, we're going to be a little bit quieter in here? How does that just happen naturally?
I think it really comes from the staff and the people who run it. I really think it's the vibe you put out. Like, if you are a calm and serene person, you kind of draw that environment around you. I think, I don't know why this is. I think this is just my personal opinion. Anywhere that has like a lot of like plants and natural light and light colors, like our wood floors are really light colored, I think it just gives a very like calming, kind of chill vibe that people are like, yeah, that's where I want to go to like study or do my work. But if you come in on the weekends, it's a very different story.
Really?
Like on Sundays especially, there will not be an open seat in the house. Like, it is packed, it is rowdy. It's a whole different vibe on the weekends. And I think that's kind of because of us too. Like, we're ready to get to work during the week, but on the weekends we like to have fun too. So I think it just kind of depends who's there and what their vibe is, and that really kind of reflects, I think.
How did you discover that pattern? I find that, I guess I haven't gone to Café Postale on a weekend, so I haven't experienced this, but how did you discover that there's like a totally different vibe, but just on a different day of the week?
I really think it's just kind of the vibe we put out, honestly. Like, because when it's the same people a lot of times that come like during the day and then on the weekends, and their vibe is different on the weekend too. So I just think it's really like a get down and do what you got to do during the week, and then on the weekends it's a party.
Fair enough.
I think.
So, how many weddings does Café Postale host every year?
A lot, especially around this time of year. Like I would say May through October, almost every weekend. We have at least one wedding, sometimes Friday and Saturday.
How involved are you with those?
So I am not involved in the events personally. Attitude on Food is our partner that does all of that. So Maddie is our event coordinator. She is fantastic. Would recommend working with her. So she sets all that stuff up. We clear our bar space off. They provide alcohol. They do food. They do event coordination. So it's really the full package with Attitude on Food.
Okay. And we will talk more about Attitude
Yeah.
on Food soon. But, I mean, you're the general manager. You are in charge of, kind of fostering this space and creating a great environment for people. How honoring is it that,
It's so honoring.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
that someone would want to spend potentially the biggest day of their life,
Right.
potentially the most important day of their life, in your space?
Yeah.
What does that feel like?
It's a lot of pressure sometimes. It's a lot of pressure, but we're really lucky with the team that we have. It's really a combined effort, especially with the events, working with Maddie and all her team and everything like that. So luckily it's not fully on me, but yeah, our team is really great working together and making sure that space is what anybody wants it to be for their big day.
Now, I know you guys, we talked about weddings. We've also seen Café Postale host a lot of like corporate events, outings. What are maybe one or two of the most unique or creative or fun outings or events that you've seen in your 3.5 years?
Let's see. We had one pretty recently, actually. It's very specific. It was about getting like legal permissions for selling cannabis in Nebraska,
wow.
which was very interesting. And we didn't really know that that's what it was ahead of time. It was just like a law firm name on it. So we were like, oh, okay, they're probably just having a meeting or whatever. And we were like, oh, I mean, cool, but not what I was expecting. So that was an interesting one. I think my favorite one that I've ever seen was a proposal, personally. We closed down the whole north side, and they came around the patio. It was a surprise, so she had no idea what was going on. She thought they were just going on a cute little coffee date. She came around the corner of the patio, and he had rose petals all over the ground, and it was so cute. Her family was there, and she didn't know they were going to be there either, so we were watching through the windows and just crying. It was so sweet. That was my favorite one I've seen for sure.
Oh, my gosh. That's amazing. I'm like getting goosebumps just thinking about that.
Yeah, it was so fun. I was like, oh my God, are you serious? They want to propose here, like of all places? And I think that's the biggest honor for me, is that people think of our space to be like, I want to have this special life event at that place. That just means so much to me. One of our regulars came in not that long ago and told me that she had gotten her senior pictures done in our cafe, and she's there all the time. So I was like, you got your senior pictures that you're going to have forever done here? Like, you want to remember us like that? That's so sweet.
I love that. One of the things that I love about coming into Café Postale is I feel like there are so many, I mean, yes, there are the obvious nods to history, like the vault door, like the giant mural, but there are always, like, I feel like every time I go in, it's like, where's Waldo? There's like these new little curiosities. There's one little thing that I noticed that I had never seen before, and I'm just like, oh, that's really cool.
I love that.
What are maybe one or two of like the lesser known like things that you love about the space? So yeah, everyone loves the vault door. They see the vault door, they think that's amazing. What are some things that people should look for when they come in, like little curiosities that you think are really cool?
Yeah, so down on our very bottom level on the north side, there's an old phone booth over there that I think is a really great, not only thing to just see and like remember that part of history, it's a really cute little photo op. And then the brick floor that's on is actually original still as well. That's the bricks from the 1920s. Yes. So those glass doors that are down there used to be a big garage door. So it would open up, and that's where they would pull the trucks in to unload all the mail. So that all that floor down there is still original as well. I think those are a couple of my favorite, like, little just subtle nods there.
Do you think we should talk about food?
I think we should definitely talk about food.
Let's talk about food. Okay, so you kind of have mentioned it already. You teed it up very well, but you guys don't have a kitchen on site.
Correct.
You don't roast your own coffee.
Correct.
But you use Attitude on Food to provide breakfast sandwiches, salads, sandwiches. You have specials a lot of times.
Right.
You have hearty coffee. You use Rotella's buns.
Yep.
You use Ted and Wally's ice cream for your affogatos. I'm forgetting something.
Artemis Tea and Botanicals.
That's what it was. Yes, you use them for tea. So obviously you've got a lot of local partners, and you weren't there from day one, so maybe some of these relationships are already established.
Right.
But as you guys have evolved over the years, how have you developed those partnerships and determined, hey, these are the brands in Omaha. These are the companies, these are the people that we want to work with and be represented in our space.
Yeah, it's just different things that we have really liked personally. It's all through personal experience. I set up the partnership with Ted and Wally's, and Bagel Bin is
That's
the one
right.
we forgot to mention.
I knew it.
Shout out Bagel Bin. I love Bagel Bin so much. So we'll get to this also, but I started at Crane Coffee back when that was a thing years and years and years ago, and I worked at the one on 119th and Pacific, so I've been familiar with Bagel Bin.
You Bagel Bin every single day.
Oh my God. Oh, I definitely did. All the time. But yeah, so I've loved Bagel Bin forever, and when the opportunity presented itself, we didn't have bagels when I started there, so I was like, we need Bagel Bin bagels, like ASAP. So we got that set up, and it's just been an excellent thing to work with them.
So your menu, it's a combination of breakfast sandwiches, wraps, you have some lunch options, and shareables, charcuterie board. Like we said, it's catered by Attitude on Food. What makes them such a great partner to work with in this instance?
Yeah, I think everything about Attitude on Food is just so great. They take such pride in what they do, using really high quality, fresh ingredients. We get our stuff delivered every single day, which is really nice. So there's no like downtime in between. What we get that day is there, and we use that, and it's delivered fresh the next day. So it's really nice. Their ingredients are great. Shout out Chef Donnie at Attitude on Food. He's fantastic. He comes up with a lot of really different, unique things for us. So I just think that they are just an excellent partner to have.
I'm interested in the collaboration and what those conversations between you and Chef Donnie, I guess, look like. Do they just kind of give you the catering menu and say, hey, pick 5 or 6 items that you would love to have featured in your space, or do you come to them and be like, hey, I think a breakfast sandwich on a biscuit, with this type of egg would be perfect? What does those conversations look like?
Right. You just described our exact conversation about the chive biscuit. So we're really lucky to be partnered with Attitude on Food through ownership. So we have the same owner. So we really get to have basically free will over what we want to have. We bounce ideas back and forth, and Donnie is very great with all the culinary stuff. So we kind of give him a basic idea of what we're thinking, and then he runs with it. So we are really, really lucky to have his creative mind with that.
So I'm currently on a hunt to find the best breakfast sandwich in Omaha. Obviously, that's so subjective, but I just want to try like the signature breakfast sandwich at every place. So obviously, I was going to come into Café Postale, and you were the one who recommended get the chive biscuit sandwich.
Yes.
Tell me the origin story, because I remember going back through your social media, you guys are very proud of this thing. When it came out, it was like, hey, this is a big deal.
Yes.
And it's a damn good biscuit.
Thank you so much.
It's a good sandwich. How did this sandwich come to life?
Yeah, so we were just wanting to switch stuff up a little bit. We had one sandwich that had been on the menu for a really long time, and we were just kind of ready for a change, and we were all like, what if we had a biscuit? Like, why do we not have a biscuit on the menu? That sounds so good. And our pastry chef from Attitude on Food, Rebecca, is incredible as well. So we were like, hey, could you put like chives and cheese in a biscuit and make a sandwich with it? And she was like, say less. I got you. She sent the first batch, and we were like, no notes. Please send this tomorrow, like right now. So ever since then, I think that's been probably the most popular breakfast sandwich.
Are most collaborations that easy, or is there usually a little more back and forth?
No, usually there definitely is like some trial and error there. So I think we were all very pleasantly surprised that it was so simple. But it's such a simple sandwich. It's just so good. There is no bells and whistles. Like, it is sausage, egg, and cheese on a biscuit, but done to the next level, I think.
Now, how do you, as a culinary team, like, I just, I'm fascinated by the idea of, like, you obviously serve hot food, so you want to have things that can be quickly prepared, but also, like we said, you're not working with the kitchen. You don't have a stove there. You don't have a range, anything like that. How do you partner with Attitude on Food to determine these are items that we can execute quickly with the limited equipment that we have, but still deliver amazing food to people?
Right. Yeah, I feel like it has been very trial and error. As we've gone, we have learned what does work and what doesn't work. So I think it's gotten a little bit easier over time to be like, okay, we definitely need things that are a little bit like on the smaller side, or that can be deconstructed to heat up a little bit quicker, because you don't want each individual food item to take 5 minutes to heat up. You'd be there all day. So it's like trying to figure out exactly what you're saying. How do you have something high quality that's also able to be produced in the small? kind of environment and equipment we have. So I think that has been really nice to just be able to be like, hey, that's where kind of the close partnership comes in handy too, that I can just text Donnie and be like, hey, this isn't working. Could we maybe try doing it this way instead? So I think it's really nice to have that like direct line of communication that if something doesn't work, it doesn't have to stay that way very long. You can fix it pretty quickly.
Something that I really admire about Café Postale is you guys have several vegan and vegetarian options on your menu, but they're not just kind of like the bottom of the menu throwaways. And I think that this is becoming less and less of a thing. But even as recently as 5 or 6 years ago, it was like restaurants would have their menu, and then they'd be like, okay, if there's somebody who's vegan or vegetarian in the party, we got to have something for them. Here's a chickpea patty burger or whatever. Here's a couple salads. That will satisfy them. I think more and more restaurants now are starting to prioritize and be like, well, we can actually make vegan food taste delicious.
Exactly.
Which is what you guys do. Why was that a priority for you, really? And I remember having vegan sandwiches, you know, maybe even 4 or 5 years ago, even before you got there, and being like, I'm not a vegan, but this is pretty damn good. Why was that why was that a priority at Café Postale?
Yeah, I think we just really, we really take pride in having a space where there is something for everybody. And we don't want it to just be like, oh, well, if somebody happens to be vegan, like, no, you gotta have something. If somebody is vegan, they deserve a delicious option just as much as anybody else does. Same with, like, we have gluten-free options that are really good. Like you said, vegan, vegetarian, we can do modifications to, like, any of our salads or anything like that. It gets a little tricky with our breakfast sandwiches and stuff coming from Attitude on Food. Some of it is prepped already, so some of those are harder to modify, and I think that's what made it so important to have an option that was like, this is vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, whatever, no matter what, you don't have to modify anything to it. It's just there and ready to go, just like everything else. So I just think it's important to have intentional, well thought out options that cover at least a majority of things like that.
You partner with Hardy Coffee. Of all the coffee options in Omaha, why Hardy?
Oh my gosh, they just have such good beans, and they have such a wide variety of options. So I really like to change it up every once in a while. We don't keep the same beans all the time. We like to rotate and have different things, and I think they're one of the places that makes that so easy to do. They change up stuff all the time, and it's always good. Like, I've never had a bad bean from there.
I agree wholeheartedly with you. I would say for all Omaha's great coffee options, Hardy's probably my number one choice. But you guys don't just serve their coffee. You turn it into different seasonal specials. You create your own drinks. How do you, as you're playing around and building a menu, how do you take their product and kind of put the Café Postale twist on it?
Yeah, so all of our seasonal menus and everything are staff curated, so it comes from all of our baristas, myself and my co-manager. So we take the undertones of the beans, those kind of softer notes that you get from the flavor, and kind of go based off that on the season. So, like, for our fall menu, we have a darker roast bean that has a little bit of, like, a smokier undertone. So we're going to use that and do a maple cardamom shaken espresso for that. So those flavors just really pair well together. And there's very harmonious flavor altogether. So I just think taking the undertones and then using your creativity from there to kind of build off that foundation they've already set for us.
I'm sure this differs with every drink, but like what's the R&D process? How long does it usually take to create a seasonal menu?
It really depends. I think we tend to thrive under pressure, so we usually do it in about a month. But it kind of depends. If we have an idea early on, I'm very forgetful, so I have a little sticky note where I jot stuff down if I think of it. So usually it's not a super long period of time, just because for myself, at least, if I have too long of a period of time, I'll be like, oh, but what if we did this? But what if we did this? Oh, this would be really good. It's like
all the ideas just spilling out.
Exactly. So I have to have, like, a very structured amount of time where it's like, okay, you have this time to decide, like, what makes the cut, what doesn't. Be done with it, put it out. Because it'd be 15 drinks on every menu if it was just up to me. If I had all the time in the world, I would be like, okay, and we'll do this, and this, and this, and this.
So, in addition to creating some seasonal drinks, what are the duties of general manager?
Yeah, so a lot of, like, inventory, ordering, A lot of deep cleaning, just kind of overseeing, making sure day-to-day functions go smoothly, having contact with our baristas and just making sure that they're happy and what they need, getting everything that they need. So just kind of, really general, general oversight of everything going on in the day-to-day.
Okay, I want to get into your background a little bit. You mentioned you were a barista at another coffee shop, and you mentioned Crane Coffee going back a ways. How did you originally get interested in food and beverage?
Yeah, so my best friend actually got me the job at Crane when I worked there. I was just out of high school. I graduated halfway through my senior year and was going to start hair school in the fall. So I kind of just needed a little something extra in the in-between, and she worked at Crane and was like, hey, we're hiring for a barista. Have you ever thought about making coffee? And I was like, I don't know. It's really early mornings, right? Like, I don't know if I'm going to vibe with that. And I got started and immediately was like, this is so cool. Like, why have I not been doing this longer? I just fell in love immediately.
What grabbed you about it?
I don't know. I think the controlled chaos. Having a rush in the morning of just cars lined down the drive-thru and people out the door, but still somehow just being like so serene. Like, yeah, this is awesome. I don't know why this is so fun and everything just goes so smooth. You get to the end and you're like, we really did that. Like, we just made 300 drinks in 2 hours like it was nothing. Like, look at us go. So I think just the pride and the excitement of being in that kind of environment, and people are just so happy to be there. Like, who doesn't like to go get a cup of coffee? You know what I mean? So it's like getting to see people who are excited to be there for what you're doing, and you're excited to see them. I think it's just a vibe, and I just really fell in love with it.
Now,
and I love coffee.
That doesn't hurt.
No, it does not hurt.
Now, there are some people who thrive in that energy, in that fast pace, in that chaos, in the, hey, our line is 10 cars deep and let's do this. Let's put our heads down and nail this. There are some personalities where you say that and they just go, oh no.
100%.
No, I'm not getting anywhere near that.
Right.
What is it about your personality that you think allows you to thrive in that environment?
So I'm a Virgo. I'll start off with that. I like to be like, okay, this is what we need to get done, and we're going to do it. Like, I'm very determined. I'm very organized. Like, if I have something that needs to get done, it's going to get done. Like, I take that as a personal responsibility, no matter what it is. I'm like, that is on me. Like, getting through this is on me. So I just think I take that very, very seriously, and when it's done, then everybody's like, yeah, that was so cool, and everybody's excited. So I think that just feels really nice to me to be like, wow, we did that, and nobody got stressed. Nobody freaked out. Like, yes.
So did you end up going to hair school?
I did, yeah. So I actually did hair for a couple of years, and then I was just like, I miss coffee. Like, why am I doing something that I'm not as passionate about? And I was so young. I went to hair school literally right out of high school. I couldn't even sign my own paperwork when I started. I wasn't like legally an adult yet. So I think it was really fun while I did it, but it just wasn't long term for me. But immediately I was like, I'm going to go back to coffee for sure. And that was almost 10 years ago. Almost 10 years ago.
Did you go back to Crane, or where did you?
No, so Crane was closed down at that
Crane
point,
was closed.
unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't get to go back to Crane, unfortunately. My first place back after hair was actually Starbucks, which didn't last very long. But there's a very different vibe, I think, not only as a customer, but as an employee of working corporate coffee versus local coffee. And I'm just a local coffee gal.
I mean, you can tell me as much or as little as you want to, but how so? What's the difference?
The creativity and the passion for it is very much what you see more in local businesses. At Starbucks, I mean, whatever, do what you gotta do. But it's about the money. They just want to make the money and get people in and out. There's no personal connection there. There's no really what I would call quality assurance. It's just kind of like, okay, everybody gets the same thing. Period. It's not really like, I don't know. I don't think it's very high quality, personally. They don't take a lot of time to make sure that everything is like locally sourced and done to the best that it can be. So I just think that there's not as much passion, personally, in like a larger corporation like that. You just don't get the same like individuality that you would get from a small business.
I would agree with you. I think, and again, I will always say this. Chains, they have their time and place.
Yeah.
They're a necessary part of just the environment.
Right.
I'll always prefer the local, because the local is a place where you can go in and you can be very specific about, I know you normally do 2 pumps of the syrup in there. Just give me like a half a pump, something like that.
Exactly.
Or you can come in, they'll be like, hey, you like honey and cinnamon on your coffee. Like, they'll remember that.
Right.
I think stuff like that is important and stuff like that is special. And probably not getting that as often at Starbucks.
For sure, yeah. And I was like, obviously, it kind of depends on the barista, too. You can really make that environment your own if you're given the opportunity and have regulars and have all that kind of stuff. But I just feel like it's not the same vibe because, like, I love to greet people by name when they come in. If I know somebody's name, I'm going to say hi to them by name. Like, most of the time. I was like, I just think that's a really, like, I love that. If I go in somewhere and they know me and they say, hey, Haley, what's up? I'm like, oh my gosh, you remembered me. That's so sweet. So I just think that's a really like extra part of being a local business is you get that opportunity to really build a relationship with your community. That's really important to me.
So you mentioned it's been about 10 years that you've been back in coffee now. At what point did you realize, hey, coffee's going to be my career? This is what I want it to be.
I think when I made the decision to leave hair, because when I went to school, I really was in that mindset of like, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. But even between when I started hair school and when I graduated hair school, like I went from being a teenager to an adult and was kind of like, I don't know if I want to do this forever. This is kind of a lot. It's just a stressful business to be in and the money is not great if you don't have the clientele. So it was not the vibe for me. So I think I really just had to sit down with myself and be like, why would you do something where you're not happy just to try to prove some point because you went to school for it? Like, who are you trying to prove this to at the end of the day? So it was like, why would I not just go do something where I'm psyched to go to work every day? Like, that's silly. So I quit the next day and went back to coffee.
So how did you move from the point where, hey, I'm just working at Starbucks and yeah, I can, make these different drinks, but the people around me aren't passionate and everything, to being someone who understands coffee at a deep level and is able to, like you said, take like the undertones of Hardy's beans now and create drinks out of them? How did you kind of level up your coffee game?
So I think it comes from a passion for food at the very base level, being able to take like combining flavors and putting them together. I've always really liked to cook. I still do a lot. So I think that was really a beneficial thing for me to be able to pair flavor profiles and lend them to each other. So I think that was a really good place for me to start with that. And then as I continued to work in coffee in local places, I was given more opportunity to be creative and do different things. So I was like, hey, what if we did this? And everybody was like, oh my God, that's so good. So I was like, okay, yeah, cool. Now I know, like, it's not just that I like it, it's that other people think it's good too. So I think that gave me really a jumping off point to be like, just try it. Like, the worst it can be is bad, and then you don't make it again, and it's okay. So it would very much like, I think in corporate coffee, it feels like there's a lot of consequence. If something isn't right, you get in trouble for it. And I feel like the more into local places, especially if it's a local place that's owned or operated by somebody who really cares about coffee, it's like, okay, that wasn't good. We try something else. Just move on. And then you try another drink, and the next one's good or it's not, and you go from there. There's no like consequence or like fear to trying something new, I think.
I'm asking you to pull from a lot of experience here, and I didn't prepare you with this question or anything, but do you have like one of those aha or really creative moments that pops to the front of your brain, just like where you were just like, you know what, I'm just going to try something, and it worked out? Or maybe even it didn't work out, but you learned something really important from it. Do you have any memories like that?
Yeah, turmeric in coffee is the number one thing I would think of. Because I was like, that could be really good or really gross, and we're going to find out. And I think the first one I made with that was turmeric and vanilla, and I want to say maple syrup, like mixed together. And it was so good because it gives you a little bit of that kind of smoky, spicy, but you get the good sweetness from the syrup still, and then the bitter from the coffee. And it sounds weird, but it's so balanced. It's so good.
So this is why I almost feel like coffee chef needs to be like a term.
Yes.
And I know that's essentially what a barista is, but so many people, when they hear the term barista, they think of just the person at Starbucks who, is just pumping out whatever drink. They see the recipe that's written down and they just do whatever it takes. Okay, you're up next. But someone who is thinking that creatively and thinking about the smokiness of an ingredient that would normally never be in. You're not finding turmeric
No.
in something from Starbucks or Scooters or
Not
anything
often.
like that. But thinking about, okay, how can I incorporate vanilla? How can I bring in maple? How can I take the natural flavor of these beans and enhance them? I will, like, I love the term barista, and
Right.
I think people should be proud to have that term, but
For
I almost
sure.
feel like it's almost like not encompassing
Right,
enough.
yeah, there needs to be like a separate. It's like in the kitchen even there's different titles based on
Oh,
what you do.
sure, yeah.
Saucier, chef de cuisine, sushi. I mean, just depending on what your like responsibility and title is, it's different. So I was like, why is that not a thing for coffee? I 100% agree because it's like I feel like there's a difference, exactly what you're saying, between somebody who just reads the recipe and somebody who says, but that could be better. Or there could be something different. Like, you know what, you don't have to just go, oh, okay, vanilla, caramel, hazelnut, you know what I mean? Those are great staple flavors, but like we never move forward if somebody doesn't say, hey, what if we tried this? Like, and maybe it's bad and that's okay. And then you know, like, okay, cool, we tried it at least, and now we do something else and it's better or it's not. And then you go from there. I just think that's really exciting.
What about your career and your personality as you're discovering, hey, this position at Café Postale is available? What made you think that you would be a good fit for that role?
So at that point, I had already had several years of not only just like general barista experience, but also being like a team lead. So I felt like I went into that with like enough leadership knowledge to be able to step in and be helpful, but also in a place where I was still ready to learn about management and about this is the first place I've ever worked that does like mug service. I've never gotten to make stuff in mugs before, which was so exciting to me because I've gotten to hone my latte art skills, and that's a whole other thing that I never really got to do other places. So I was kind of like, okay, this is a really good balance of stuff where I'm familiar with, where I'll be able to come in and already contribute to their team and be helpful, but also be a sponge enough that I'm like, okay, hey, teach me how to do this. How do you do latte art? How do you do a Rosetta versus a tulip? Like, I just still had so much to learn, and I was so excited to go and be with a team that I could learn that from.
What's the This isn't a good question.
That's okay.
What's like the key to learning latte art? Like, is there a specific skill that you feel like you need to master?
Your milk texture has to be perfect. If it's too fluffy, then you can't get those really nice, crisp, clean lines. And if you don't have enough foam, then there's just not anything to make latte art with. And I was in the boat where my foam was so fluffy that when you get to that point of going to pour the design, it just kind of plops on top, and you're like, oh, okay, I tried. You just swirl it up with a straw and make it look like a little nice little whirlpool.
How important is it to have that open mind? Because you're coming into this role, yes, you're new, but you're the general manager.
Right.
Like, that's a pretty high position in the hierarchy, and some of the baristas making latte art have a lot less experience than you do. How important is it for you to just keep that open mind and say, I have a lot of years of experience on this person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm much higher on the org chart than this person,
Right.
but they can teach me something. I need to humble myself in this situation and learn what I can from them.
Right.
How did you develop that mindset in yourself?
I think it's exactly what you're saying, is just being humble and knowing that I'm never perfect and I'm never going to know everything. Everybody has something to learn from every single person they meet, I think. So there are people who are really good at latte art, or there are people who had specific ways of like brewing tea or even just deep cleaning something that I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Like, will you show me how to do that? So I think just observationally being like, hey, that person is doing something a little bit different than I do, and it looks like it might be better or easier. Like, I'm going to ask them, because, I mean, position doesn't really matter to me, I guess. Like, we're a team collectively. Like, yes, I have more responsibility and a different title than everybody else, but I guess I would never think of myself as, like, above anybody, like, on my team even. Yeah, so I think just going in and very upfrontly being like, hey, I have a lot of background experience, but I'm not here to make you guys do things my way. Like, I'm here to incorporate into your team, essentially, at that point, and to learn from you guys about what Café Postale is, because I was just a customer, really, at that point. So I was like, I want to know what you guys do, because as a customer, I love it here. So I want to know what you do that I don't do to make this experience better.
What were some of the really important things that you learned in those opening weeks and months that you feel like helped you understand the space?
I think serving for me, number one was a new thing because we basically do table service with the food and drinks and everything. We run everything out to everybody, and I had never done that before. So I was like, okay, we're gonna do this. So on my first Sunday, every seat is full. And like I kind of mentioned before, I don't have the best memory always. So remembering like, okay, this person had this drink with this and this and that, and remembering who they are, like trying to remember what they're wearing just to see where everything goes. So I think that was the biggest thing to me where I was like, how do you guys find this to be easiest? Because I'm going in blind to serving. So I think getting advice from other people on how they really managed it, and then kind of tweaking the system a little bit later on just to make it easier across the board for everybody, really. Because when I started, we were just writing down descriptions of people to take things, which at its base level can work, unless you have 300 people in a space, especially in the winter when people have winter coats on, and then they take them off. And the only descriptor you have written down is what color their coat is. So pretty quickly I was like, does anybody else have a problem with this system? And a couple of our baristas were like, yeah, it gets a little stressful. And it was like, okay, well, we're going to order number tags, and you're going to give the person the number tag that correlates with the number on their ticket. That way we don't have to try to remember anybody. That way we just streamlined. We just get it right to them. We know who it's going to. And I think that has made that part of the job a lot easier for me, especially to not have to try to keep a backlog of people in my head, because I don't do that very well.
Again, it's having that open-mindedness.
Exactly.
Okay, what are some ideas that we can bring in to problem solve that we haven't used before?
Right. And I wanted to make sure that I wasn't the only one who had a problem with it, because I was like, if everybody else is vibing with that, then that's fine, and I'll figure out my own system to make it work. But once other people were like, yeah, I kind of don't like that system, it was like, okay, perfect. Let's change it then, because we have that power as a small business to be like, hey, this system isn't working. We're done with it. We're going to start this new thing that we think will be better.
Gotcha. So you've been at Café Postale for, like you said, about 3.5 years now. How do you think it's evolved the most during your time?
I think that we have a staff right now who is so passionate and so excited about what they're doing, that it has just really upped the quality of everything. Like, I feel, this is not to talk bad about anybody who used to work there or anything like that, but it was kind of just a job to them. And that's fine, obviously. Everybody needs a job to pay their bills and everything.
Right.
But I think having a staff there who really cares about what they're doing and is really excited to be there and knows that they're going to be heard by their management team and knows that they are respected and genuinely cared for as people, just really sets that tone for everybody. So I feel like everybody is really on the same page now that, like, we're in this together for real. Like, we decide how every day goes, you know what I mean? If we decide it's going to be smooth, it's going to be a smooth day, you know what I mean? Like, that's really just our power.
We're a team.
Exactly.
We're not a bunch of individuals punching the clock, getting out of here. We like that feeling, and this is what so many people in the restaurant industry refer to as well. Like, as crazy as the service might be, as much stuff as might go wrong, when they go to the bar at the end of the night and they're just like, we did it.
Yeah, exactly.
All this stuff went wrong, or it was a crazy day for XXX reasons, but we did it. We survived it together.
Right.
And that's such a bonding, like, feeling and experience. 100%. I love that. As we wind down here, we've mostly discussed the past and how Café Postale and your career have evolved. I want to look into the future real quick. How do you see the space continue to evolve? What do you think it looks like in the future?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question. I would love to see just packed every day, honestly. Like, as much as I love a slow day every once in a while, I think we're just a little bit enough off the beaten path of, like, the old market that kind of area gets overlooked a little bit, I think. So I would love for that area of town to kind of be a little bit more vibrant and have a lot more people coming through. So I think we would really like to partner with some of the other businesses that are in that area to do kind of community events. So I would really like to see more like community involvement in the future. I think that would be really cool.
I would love to see that too. If there's ever a Café Postale Via Farina collaboration.
Yeah, yes.
I'm just going to throw it out there.
Right.
Two pretty great brands.
100%.
Before we get you out of here, I've got two questions that I like to ask just about everybody who comes on the show. First one is this. What is one thing about the restaurant industry, coffee shops, hospitality industry, whatever direction you want to take that you feel most guests don't understand, that you wish they did understand?
Wait times. That would be my number one thing. I feel like a lot of the negative reviews we get are about people who wait 25 or 30 minutes for their drink. And while I do obviously acknowledge that that can be frustrating sometimes, I think what people don't understand is when you order, your drink or food is at the back of the line to get made. So if there's 40 tickets lined down the counter, like a good espresso shot is taking anywhere from 25 to 30 seconds to pull. So we're doing that for every single drink in front of yours. Like we put the time and effort into every drink to make sure it's good, and that does take a little bit of extra time sometimes. So I think I wish people understood a little bit more that, like, your drink doesn't start getting made when you order. Like, everybody in their own time, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And then to get you out of here on a positive note, and you've probably said this at some point during the podcast, but let's just reinforce it. What's your favorite part about being a part of Café Postale, the coffee industry in general, the hospitality industry in general, whatever direction you want to take that?
Yeah, it's the people 100%. Not only the people like that I see as customers that I get to know, that is a huge part of it. I love, like I talked about the regular earlier who decided to take her senior pictures at the cafe. I was like, I just love to build that relationship with people. And when her and her mom came in, they stopped me in my tracks. They were like, we have to show you these pictures. We wanted you to see them. And I was like, really? Like, you guys wanted me to see them, and I love them so much, so it was just so exciting to have that like relationship with people. You know people by name, you know what they get, you know what's going on in their life, so you can sit and ask them about different stuff. I just really like that personal aspect to it with customers, but also as a team. I see my team members more than I see my actual family for the most part. So it's really nice to be able to be around people who, you know, if you're having a bad day, you can be like, hey man, I really need to talk to somebody about this. Like, can we talk for a few minutes? And knowing that no matter who you're working with, they will drop what they're doing and be like, yes, what's up? And that I can provide that for them as well. It's just such a nice thing to know that, like, it's not really I feel like a lot of jobs are like, oh, you have to leave your life at the door. You know what I mean? Like, if you're having a bad day, leave it at the door. And I just don't think that's realistic for people. You know what I mean? So it's like, no, bring it to us. That's what we're here for. Like, I see you more than you see your family. You see me more than you see your family. That's what we're here for. You know what I mean? Like, it's an industry of people at the end of the day. Yes, we make coffee, and yes, we care about coffee so much. But if you don't care about people to the same level you care about coffee, then it's all null and void.
That was beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Wow. Yeah, and I think that is a big part of what gives Café Postale the vibe that it has. Yes, it has great coffee. Yes, the breakfast sandwiches are awesome. Yes, I could just look at the history and learn more about that all the time. But it's that feeling. You feel good when you're in that space. And I think so much of it is just it is the staff just being like, hey, you're like, this is not the In-N-Out coffee shop.
No.
This is a place where you're going to stay. You're going to relax. You're going to leave your inhibitions at the door for a little while and just kind of be here. That's the vibe that you get from Café Postale, and I think what you just said just plays into that so strongly. Thank you for helping to create that space and just, you know, such a good respite for people who are around downtown Omaha, don't want to go into the bustle of downtown, and they can just kind of relax out there. Haley, thank you so much for giving some time and coming on the podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me. It was such a joy.
Omaha, as always, thanks for eating with us.